So the first thing we need to learn is not to base our self-worth on other people's opinions. Let's face it, they're usually wrong anyway. But if they're right, then let's be grateful for the fact, because that means we've got something to work on. When you find that you've got a fault, instead of feeling down about it, think, good, I've got something to grapple with now. We know that something is keeping us from the happiness that we're looking for. And when you find what that thing may be, or at least one thing that may be causing that lack of sufficient fulfillment and happiness in yourself, then be grateful. Everybody's got something wrong with him, or he wouldn't be on this planet, let's face it. So don't worry about your faults. Think what you can do about them. Don't worry about the negative side of your life and the obstacles and so on. There are things to overcome. Actually, the best people in the world are the people who have the most to overcome, because you have to put out energy to overcome them, to transcend them. The energy that you put out is the real source of your success. There is success that comes to you on a platter. It is the success that comes from good karma. But if you just sort of feed off of that, you're not getting anywhere. It's sort of like a saint who one time was, this is a story in ancient India, that an angel came to him and said that you've done such good things in this world that I have been sent to take you to heaven in your physical body. That's a way of saying leaving your body without losing consciousness. And the saint said, well, this is very nice of you and I appreciate it, but tell me, what are the pluses of going to heaven? And he said, well, you get to mix with the deities, with the gods, with the angels. You get to have a life of great bliss and happiness and fulfillment. And he went on this way for a while, and the saint said, well, what my experience of life teaches me is that for every advantage, there's going to be some disadvantage. What are the disadvantages to going to heaven? And the angel said, well, this is a very peculiar question you're asking me, but since you're asking it, I guess I have to answer that there does come a time when your good karma of being in heaven, be it 100 years, be it 1,000 years, be it just a few years, it will be exhausted, and you will have to come back to this world to continue working out your past karma. And when that comes, it's sort of like the autumn when the leaves begin to fall. Your happiness will fall like those leaves, and bit by bit you will feel sad to have to go back. And while you're in heaven, you won't be able to advance further because it's so beautiful you don't have the incentive to advance further. And the saint said, well, thank you very much, but the difficulties you've outlined are so colossal. I can't imagine anybody in his right mind wanting to go there. He said, can't you offer me something better? And the angel said, well, there is a level of consciousness where you are beyond light and shadow, beyond limitation of all kinds, and it's beyond our realm, so we only can speak about it from hearsay. But to get there, you have to stay in a physical body and work hard. So the saint said, well, thank you very much. I appreciate your coming and taking the trouble. But frankly, anybody in his right mind would have to say, I'd much rather stay here and meditate and work out my karmas. And this is the fact of our so-called difficulties. People feel so bowed down by their difficulties. They should be grateful for them, because every hardship you endure makes you stronger and helps to get rid of some of that burden. We all know there's something on our minds that we can't somehow get it off our minds to come into perfect bliss. We all know that we want happiness, but we don't find it. And so we keep coming back, working it out bit by bit. It takes a long time to find liberation from this world, mainly because we think it takes a long time. Mind you, it does not have to take a long time. You can say, I'm free right now, and you'd be free if you say it with enough energy. I remember there was some quality in myself that I really wanted to overcome, but it was so heavy on me that I didn't know how to do it. And finally one day I remember I was in deep meditation, and I said, I'm absolutely sick of this. Get out of my mind. And I said it with so much power that never again did it come to me. And I remember leaving my meditation that day and seeing Yogananda, my guru, standing at Mount Washington looking down over the city. And I went to him for his blessing, and he tapped me on the forehead and he said, very good. So he knew what I'd been going through. You can get rid of your problems. There was one man who had a problem with drinking. And every time he'd give it up, he'd go back to it. And he still kept his cupboard with alcoholic beverages of one kind and another. And one time, he started to open up a bottle of whiskey when he said, I'm so fed up with this thing. And he took all those bottles and hurled them on the sidewalk, broke every bottle. And the violence of that emotion was so great that he quit completely. But if you put enough energy, it's only energy that you've put out in the past that makes for that karma, makes for that blockage. If you put out enough energy, you can get rid of these things. And when I speak of success, I'm speaking not of that kind of success that is handed to you on a platter. I'm speaking of that kind of success that you attain by sheer hard work. Now, there are certain attitudes that can help you to achieve that success. The first is acceptance. When things go wrong, learn how to accept them. When people turn against you, instead of railing and ranting because they aren't treating you nicely, accept it. They're not all going to treat you well. You'll be surprised how that simple practice of acceptance of whatever is will make you live a life of peace and harmony. I can speak from quite a lot of experience because, yes, that woman astrologer in Germany was right. I have a grand cross astrologically with all the big planets in the fixed signs. And it's supposed to be a hard life, and I guess some people looking at my life would say, yes, it has been a hard life. I have not defined it as that. I simply choose not to define it as that. I choose to say this is my good fortune. It gives me a chance to grow. It gives me a chance to go strong. It gives me a chance to learn certain attitudes. For example, when people have turned against me who were dear friends, I've decided that whether I love them or not does not depend on whether they love me or not. It depends on my attitude. When am I happier, loving or not loving? Obviously, I'm happier when I love. Therefore, I choose to give them love. It's driven them up the wall. If you want a good revenge, this will do it for you. But don't do it with that motive. The fact is that nobody needs to tell you how you should be or who you are. You are yourself. I have had this good fortune in my life of never having my opinion of other people dependent on their good opinion or bad opinion of me. Some people have disliked me, and I still like them because I think they're fine people. Some people love me, and it means nothing to me because I don't feel that their love is of a deep kind. Real happiness is what we're looking for when we think of success.